We are the one, the light in the dark. One heart, one world, one spark. We are the one, together we rise. One dream, one voice, one sky.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Empowered Across the World. This is our podcast, and I have an amazing host with me, always. I have Jackie Zaccoli. She resides in Arizona, but she is global. You want to check out her Gen Network, and it's coming back in September because she's been on a little hiatus for a month, but she'll be back, and you want to know what Jen is all about, Global Impact Network. And then I have Chenere. Chenere is amazing. She resides in California. Her heart is all over the place also, and she is doing amazing things in Nigeria. So you want to check her out and find out what she's all about. I'm Carol Witt. I am the founder and the director for YEA and YEP Global. We are in 88 countries now. And I teach mindset. It's the biggest deal, and it is. And we are so thrilled to have Jan come and join us today, and share some amazing things and share her life with us and inspire you, inspire us. And we want to get her out to as many people as we can so they know who she is and what she does and how she impacts so many people. So, Jan, come join us, please.
Good morning, Carol, and thank you, everyone. I feel your hearts, your smiles, and it is so important for us women to circle up and dance this power of initiative that we have through the feminine.
Oh, so great. I love that already. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm ready.
So you would like for me to talk about my life, correct?
Absolutely. Anything you want to share with us, past, present, future, whatever you want to share. Okay.
And I think the important thing is we listen to each other's stories because the power is within our individual story, specifically for the fears that we have overcome. The fears that we came in, that we signed up, our souls contracted with, are the exact keys that will form the unlocking of the confusion, the disembodiment, the disassociation that our authoritative systems and governments have perpetuated for quite some time. So I was born in America into privilege, but I was very poor at the same time. A large family of 10. And I would see the other reality on TV. I would see, people that went out to dinner, people that wore shoes that didn't have holes in the bottom, from the little girl's family down the street who was kind of mean to me. So I had the perfect American experience where I could independently chisel who I was with nobody stopping me. Okay. And I recognize when I went to San Francisco State and I was this white woman, presentable, for the first time in my life, the professors and different people said, okay, so Jan, you're saying that everybody can bootstrap themselves up, but you don't understand the constrictions and contraction that people with color, people of different countries, and it kind of blew me away. So I began to focus all the time because I thought I was an expanded conscious person, except for my entire life, I was afraid to speak up to authority. And it's interesting that I chose this card today, Speaking Truth to Authority, because it started with my father. And because I'm an empath and intuitive, I remember thinking, why is he saying one thing and thinking another thing? What would make people separate themselves from the truth, and what would that create? And so as I went through life, feeling that I had to tiptoe around specifically male authority, or you'd be shamed, or you would be shut up, or you would be shut down. That didn't serve me very well to be anxious in job interviews or with partners. And so a certain part of me just kind of died on the vine because I couldn't speak up. And last night, when I saw the women in the Middle Eastern countries being muzzled, it's like I was shook to my core because I know that feeling to be stuck in a prison of voicelessness, and everyone else seems to feel, especially in the theater of life, the ones who aren't so nice, and they're extracting the energy of the feminine, and they are keeping us in fear and control, and all that we bring to the table is utilized for their agenda in a predatory way. So you can imagine this feeling, this energy that just kept rising. And my mother was a Stanford graduate school graduate, and she played second fiddle to my father, who was a drinker and like things quiet. So I just felt like I've had enough. So I walked away from a very high-end marriage to an orthodontist, a villa, Ferrari, and everything, because I realized there was something for me to do, and it was to find the can opener for women's voices. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to be big, to have colorful, or to wear certain clothes because I was told it scared people. It was just too big. So I'll tell you what happened. I was in my 50s and I was trying to figure out, I walked away from my marriage and I was doing music at the bedside for dying people because I'd always been a singer. I never knew if I would get nervous and fall apart, but I also was a nurse and I was nervous there too. So somehow singing at the bedside of dying people gave me a chance to not think and monitor, am I safe and how am I coming across? It is such a sacred, blessed moment of assisting a person across. And I had started taking classes at the Sound and Consciousness Institute. I began to understand thought and will and intention. So it all came together in this state of singing for people dying because I could let go. And this state of grace filled me. I had never felt it, of joy, of light. And I said, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to study it and I'm going to follow it through. Because if I can help people relieve fear of dying, can I help release women's fear of speaking up? So I dove in. I actually became the vocal expert. It's Globe Sound Healing Institute, how to heal with your voice. I work with scientists and I learned to track the frequency of fear in women's voices. And I saw how your voice has a print. And as you go out into the world, devious using forces, and I'm not saying it's all men, this is not gender specific, believe me. But in general, the feminine's voice has been truncated. So the feminine voice, if she has a lot of F sharp and fear, she attracts the male, the partner, the leader who has no F sharp. They've exhausted their energy field. So we have become codependent helpers, the empaths, the ones who come in and do everything. And in that partnership, we are our energy of truth, beauty, love, and goodness, all that the feminine brings, is sucked up until we are left flat. So I saw that our voices could be used as diagnostic tools. And then I went to graduate school and said, I need to develop a program that women can repatterned their voice. And of course, it's not just our voice, it's our entire body. It's our soma, where when you were little, when I was little, I learned not to trust men in charge. So I carried that with my voice through my whole life, and I would attract men in charge who wanted to. So now I say, change your voice, change your life. So in a nutshell, I did the research, and I work with a lot of women across all cultures. In fact, I've been to a lot of different countries now, work with thousands of women with voice release. What you have within your vibrational field holds that initial wounding or fear or trauma. My father would say, children should be seen and not heard. I would go fishing on his boat, and he said, girls don't fart. I mean, that's terrible. Suppression of the physiology. So that's in there. And anytime I become a vibrational educator and expert, everything is vibration. So if I am triggered by someone's voice, nuance, presence, or just who they are, I would start contracting. And it went right down into the original wounding, the root would be activated, and it would come out again in the present situation. So I couldn't figure out, okay, so I can see the graphs, women are anxious, but how to get it out? It took me 5 years, and I have learned to navigate the spiritual world of communication. I work with Caroline Corey for 20 years. You still your mind. I have a very simple 3-point process. You stop thinking and it drops in. So it was amazing that I just allowed for an archangel to come in. And yes, I do work with all realms, and I help women find their way of praying and grounding themselves as emerging spiritual beings, using their intuition to bring the light of practical healing ways for our social system. So this archangel came in and said, Jan, it's simple. It's vibration. You will sit across from someone and they merely think about how they're afraid when they're asked to say something. And that vibrational template comes up and it is awake. And it has a sound. You can use the sound stream. So they would sound just on a vowel sound, and I would come and exactly meet the trauma blueprint. And I would do it in such a way, it was easy because I had done 30 years of anthroposophical pure tone singing, and I wasn't sure why I did that pure tone singing, but I could match the harmonics of their original wounding 1000%. And they would feel it. And they would be that 3-year-old of, oh, this thing I protected and that's hurt me my whole life. Someone is touching lovingly, and I can let it go. And in that moment, through sympathetic resonance, there could be 100 women in the room. And the issue that just was touched and released, a controlling mother, abusive father, everyone feels it, and everyone has the same release. So over the years, I said, that was in my 50s, and I'm 72 now. And I subsequently developed the Queen's Caravan Spiritual Walkabout Tour. And I got a red gypsy traditional wagon. And I go to different cities throughout the United States. I would take it to Europe too, but I fly there and I just use the pictures and images. I was just in France for a month. And wherever I go, that red wagon and my voice is a calling card for the, makes me want to cry, for the women who came and their souls promised to wake up now and to speak truth to authority It's a team of women. When I meet them, yesterday I was at our county fair and I was admiring a woman's prism. She came over, looked in my eyes, and we shook our heads. And we said, we're here to help, aren't we? So we exchanged cards. So the Queen's Caravan was built to encourage women to come into community of circles of protection. In every social system where women have been marginalized and muted, coming into circles, we are safe. We can recognize that we have made this vow from other lifetimes. We've been here so many lifetimes, gathering our toolkits of different skills. And when we come together in these circles, in fact, women say, I remember you from this lifetime and how you supported me with this, and we had this problem. So it is a recognizable, palpable feeling when we come together, and women who are listening to this are being vibrationally activated in remembrance. We came to profoundly shift the vibrational matrix of this reality, and we do it by speaking without fear. The men, the authorities, can receive words when they're steeped in love, when the vibration is pure love. Think of Kuan Yin versus Kali. Kali, angry feminist. Kuan Yin is the mother every man wishes they had. Kind, receivable. People who are making decisions will give us an ear if we come in kindness and love and compassion. And that's how we will change it all. I have a new book coming out called Sarah's Voice, The Rising of the Voice of the Divine Feminine, of this team of women. And the key was put right out in the open with the Da Vinci Code. Remember how they were tracking down these women? I mean, it was a story of a religious nature, and these women would save the world. So the dark guys had to take them out. Well, the key was the whole puzzle piece was the keystone, this little keystone. No, we women are the keys. And when we tone our voice in pure love, it is the key and it goes in. And when three or more are gathered, our voices emanate and land in human souls where they say, I want to follow this energy. And so we must heal and clear ourselves. And voice release is a tool I use to match the painful woundings that caused the fear that I had in my body forever. And I help women release fear around the world. And all the healers I have met send people to me, and I go in and I match that with different vowel sounds. Again, it's Rudolf Steiner anthroposophical approach, and it's very complex, but I go in and match it, and the research showed that these women had significant reduction in their fear. One woman went out and spoke for 1,500 people and actually felt joyful. And this is a woman who I had seen sweating on Zoom before and forgetting what she would say. So where we are moving as a species is guided by our voices. And I am committed to every woman and continually refine where I am sitting with all of this. And I had this dream for years where I'd have this baby. You know how moms, there's a joke, leave your baby on the bus. Well, I kept forgetting to wrap up this baby and it would get cold. And then I was a public health nurse. So this was a failure to thrive baby, right? And I'd say, what is it? And Spirit said, You promised to help birth the voice of the divine feminine, and you keep getting distracted, and this baby will die. And you will raise her until she is standing, and then you will have the greater circle of the feminine community being empowered and rising, raising her together. In other words, we are raising our own divinity. And I kept getting distracted by men, by shiny things, by money. So here I sit. I've now left my present partner because Spirit said, 1000% devotion, you are going to build a divine feminine institute where women can come from around the world. All these women that you've met, we need to circle up in circles that we impotentize and teach each other healing arts, sustainable living, and leadership art with voice release. So I will be looking at property. I know just how it's going to be. 3 women hosting with mentoring and leader. All these women, I visited in their community and I say, I'm going to build a center and you're going to be my first guest. Well, they can't all be first, but I have a list. And they will come to my community and then they will go to another community. And we will be interlacing like a homeopathic potentizing this free, spiritually imbued voice of the divine feminine that the information is dropping through for the solution, the answers, and the medicine. And people say, well, Jan, how do you live your life? And I say, one thought at a time. And often the thoughts come through me. I can't control. And that's what we're working with. This morning, I said to myself, be sure and tell them we are coming out of the seizure of control of human sovereignty and freedom. And it is our presence and our reassurance that something stabilizing and good can happen out of the chaos. We are the bridge, and it is our voices. And women will tell me, they'll say, I have waited my entire life to hear your voice, Jan. I'm a cheerleader. I'm not the team. I'm not out there, people doing the new initiatives. But my voice, I've learned, is the cheerleader, and it activates people. So I do sessions. They say, I totally remember why I'm here now. So I'm really thrilled about that. I may have hit 20 minutes. I do love to talk once I get going.
You have, and oh my gosh, I don't even want to stop you. But yes, you have we just ended your 20 minutes. Wow. Okay. So we're hopefully you can stay a little longer after
Oh,
we
yes.
recording and we can get to know you a little bit better. But does anyone have any questions for Jan? Oh my goodness. Wow.
I do.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ray, go for it.
I mean, talk about your voice
Hmm.
and talk about the influence and talk about power and talk about women releasing. One of the things that um, a lot of women have gone through, a lot of us are very afraid of sharing it, is when it involves family, because we want to preserve that name, that legacy, but to what cause? And it takes courage and it takes power. And for a woman to speak up and stand out and say, hey, I love my father, I love my family, but I am doing the work that I am sent to do. There are a lot of women that need what you're doing, a lot. And some wounded women, myself included, because oftentimes the pain is real. And we try our best to make sure that the image that our parents and our great grandparents and all of them brought together, we don't want to mess it up. But at the same time, we want to be empowered through compassion and being able to share. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing. The voice is powerful. So I stand up for authoritarian, and I stand up to speak
Yes.
against oppression.
Your voice is extremely embodied. And what you brought up was there are tribal codes. And since I was little, I was outside the tribal code. I mean, I was just born in as a messenger. And this morning, when I was preparing for this, I said, is there anything I'm planning to say that is going to make my sisters irate? Or is there any way that I might mention my father that'll be annoying? But here's the truth sets us free. And there is a lineage of goodness in every family, every tribal system. And we build on that. And we hold our hearts open of honoring that everyone tried their best. But most of my work is not even verbal, it is prayerful presence. And your voice is the end result of becoming the instrument of peace. And that is your consciousness untempered with by the old rules, the old ways, the tribal codes. And sometimes you can feel isolated, but the more light that you become and you speak up and let yourself be seen, you become the lighthouse. It took me forever. One of my most difficult things as a child is where are the others? Where are the others? And when I became the light, they could see me. And now we gravitate and meet towards each other. And I have an inner circle of women, the best healers on the planet, and we trade. And I am honored that these women are so amazing. We do the work and keep moving towards people who just have a little more light, a little more truth. And it's like a ladder of vibrational consciousness. We never beat ourselves up where we're at.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Jackie, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, can't figure out what I'm going to say now. I got so involved. She needs to understand, needs to be with the collective, the conscious collective, huh, Carol? Yeah, she'd have a great time in there. Anyhow, I'm trying to think of the best place for you, or maybe you can tell me, other than on podcasts and everything else. My guess is that you enjoy speaking to a group because you seem to assess the stat. I don't know how you could possibly do that because everybody's a whole different entity. But to be able to blend to allow the spiritual self essentially to come out. So what's the best place for you? Is it a group? Is it just individuals? What do you prefer?
Well, they told me I'd never have to advertise, that I just stay present. I do a weekly free meditation and people pop in and out on that. But essentially, you ask me how I can gauge each group and what they need. In the human design system, I'm a projector. 20% of the planet are projectors. It's how we work with energy. The projector system wasn't even available before, but we essentially show the path. I am empty inside my energy systems, and I wait until someone asks me. I can never give a talk unsolicited, but when people ask me, Jackie, you just asked me something, I merge with you and I begin to show you the movie of the truth that your higher self wishes they could say out loud. So I've always been able to, in fact, I tell you, I'm a nurse and a minister, and growing up, it scared me how easily I knew what other people were thinking and feeling. And I felt, what am I, some sort of chameleon with no absolute? I show people what they would like to hear when they are ready to hear it and ask me. So I speak to Mormon groups in their front room. I've visited everywhere, and I just become one with them, and it comes through me. I never think about what I'm going to say, and afterwards I forget. I'm essentially just a movie projector. So I like to do everything. You asked me what I like to do. I'm interviewed a few times. I interview other people on our She Said Talks program. I like to be invited to go with the Queen's Caravan. I would truly love to have financial and resource support for getting the Institute off the ground in a full way. I can afford the property, and I do have different beings who are supporting and assisting me. I would love to go to different countries that I haven't been. I feel there's a contract for me to go to Africa and to work with Middle Eastern women, leaders, women who can call the shots are the ones with all the financial resources. And I do have access to those circles. I almost went to Jordan. But I feel that the women who are in power positions, and I have worked with powerful people. I was put on the phone to work with Robert Kennedy's voice with the dystonia that he had. So, yeah, I
Well,
like
there are a lot
variety.
of, yeah, there are so many vehicles Carol and I see on a constant basis, whether it's just in her class or whether it's empowering the the nonprofits in the community. Um, there are so many ways, and the more cultures that you uncover or are placed in front of, the more of the challenge because of the past belief system and the
Yes,
role of women in that belief system of not having a voice. So I think of, I just listened to a summit on Afghanistan and the women's voice that they were not allowed to even go out of the house. And some of those that it's a huge challenge,
they
huge
can't
challenge.
laugh and they can't sing.
No,
And when I watched their with the burqa that's not so dark, it just gutted me last night.
yeah,
And I said,
yeah,
well, I can't personally, I'm not going to lower my vibration first,
no,
but I can bring this in to my prayer and bring in more energy of dissolving this controlling darker energy. And when women get together who have these skills, my friend's dog had a huge tumor, and she says, Jan, look, I healed it, it's gone. I said, Deb, how many miracle healings have you done? She says, well, I stopped counting at 70. I said, we're not wasting our time. Every Wednesday morning, she and I and her husband choose one personal issue of someone in our circle. And believe me, we have really assisted a lot of people in shifting, but we do global issues. And this week it is going to be the voices. They can't sing. They can't even sing or laugh. That is the ultimate. And sometimes we have to see the darkest expression of that to really feel it and get it. I believe, and I think Jesus said people learn through pain. And if you can take away their pain, that is the ticket for people to come into your life, remove their pain, and then they say, well, how do you do it? And then you say, well, I've just learned to align with the light of creation. I'm non-denominational. The light of creation, and you guide it with your thoughts, and then you speak it, and then you're happy. And other people say, what is she drinking? I want what she's drinking. I go out with a group of women every week, 3 times a week. We go dancing. And we dance with anyone and everybody and ourselves, and we're colorful. And we just whip up the joy
yeah,
wherever you're at. And if sometimes the music is so off tune and so horrible, and we say, think of the vibration we're bringing here.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow, Jan, one of the things that I am a stand for in YEA and YEP is raising the vibration of love on the planet. And I absolutely get the love that you raise, that you bring everywhere you go. Thank you so much for being our guest today and sharing this, your amazing being with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Teamwork. I couldn't do what I do unless people organize things. And I would like to say, these circles, these institutions, these places where you have women, invite me and I'll come through and sit with you. And then you come through. We need to build leaders in each community. And then we circle up and visit each other. So that's my last sharing.
Wow. Wow. That's another thing that we concentrate on is raising leaders in our programs and a lot of women leaders, a lot of African women leaders. They're stepping up and they're speaking out and they are just beautiful beings and their hearts are um, so they're heart-centered and heart-led leaders is what they are about service and making a difference and raising more leaders. So just thank you for being on our planet. Thank you for being somebody that goes, you go way beyond. You go way beyond what's seen.
We need beyond right now.
I
We
know.
need a divine
Well,
intervention.
I
And
know.
we are the team.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, you love these episodes, please, please come join us. Be a guest on our podcast. Get your voice out there. Let people know what you're up to and what you do out there. It makes a difference. You make a difference. And women's voices need to be brought out and really celebrated. And that's what this platform's all about, is that we celebrate your voice, we celebrate your story, we celebrate who you are for the world. So please, we do these episodes, one on Monday, two on Friday. If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out to one of our hosts. We're all over LinkedIn. Please reach out to us. We can get you on the calendar. We are booking now for September and October. So please, I think we might have still a few left. So please come and join us. And guys, remember, your network is not my network. We want Jan. We want what she does out there in the world. Let people know. And so when you share this, when you repost and share this on LinkedIn and other places, it gets out to more people. And the more people that know, the more people that can be in Jan's energy. And we raise the vibration of love on this planet. So thank you once again for another amazing episode. Please join us again. Remember, we all deserve to thrive. Let's do it together. Bye, everyone.